Universe, and this is my music YouTube channel. I've been going to a lot of concerts and music festivals lately because when I turned 30, it was like a homecoming for myself to come back to my true essence as a life path number 3. And that means that I'm all in with my true life purpose starting, well, I've always been, but like it's like just like a coming back to myself type of thing. Now, I know what you're saying before I continue. Deanna, what's up with your eyeliner today? Well, I don't know. And frankly, I don't care. This is what I'm working with today. So it's just not up to you. Thank you. That being said, today I'm making a video in honor of the kid Laroi. Well, it's in honor of a couple things, but it's mainly the kid Laroi. And essentially, I'm going to see the kid Laroi for the first time tomorrow evening with Dan Thalen. And I needed to capture on film how much it means to me, because the kid Laroi is Kurt Cobain reincarnated. And God told me that a couple years ago, and the first person I shared it with was Dan, because he was right there when I found out. And I found out when I was living in Beaver Dam, my hometown. I think. Yeah. In the very first apartment that we lived in after my mom's house, after boot camp. God wanted me to know that, because Kurt died by suicide, and severe depression, and an unknowing, not knowing that he had autism, I think played a big part in it. Okay. Yeah, okay. I had hoped to do things like this with all of my soul family, and even some of my biological family and spiritual family, but they're all AWOL. They think I have leprosy, or they think I've died. But I haven't died. So I'm just waiting for them to catch up with themselves and start to really feel the gravity of what they've chosen in relationship to me, and really start to feel the truth that Your soul family is where your life purpose really is. How do you know about people's past lives? What are you doing channeling people's past lives? It's not my fault. It's not my fault. God tells me things even when I don't feel like I've even earned knowing it. But there's a reason for it. Okay. If you scroll down to my very first ever Instagram post, which I can do that actually. I can do it. I can do it. Sending my double to find my cell phone. And return to me when you're finished. Yowza. Okay. We go. Oh, good. Let's go all the way. I'm gonna have to like really, really scroll. Like a lot. Here we go. It's one of those things. Let me say, if I had like mad editing skills, it wouldn't be so bad. I could just like fast forward during this part. I can make it all fun and stuff. It's not fun watching this. Everyone has past lives. Everyone is eternal and reincarnates over and over and over to fulfill their purpose. If you honestly think like that Five for Fighting song, you've only got 100 years to live. If you honestly think that that's all you are, then I would invite you to like really like read any book or watch any TV show for about an hour. Um, that's all it takes, really. So we're getting there. We're going back. We're scrolling. We're scrolling. We're gonna get all the way to my very first ever Instagram post. I first created an Instagram account. Sorry, some of my old posts make me laugh like nothing else can. And this is what I want to say. In honor of my informal red movie, let's make sure the right things go to the right people. Please. Okay? Please, can we create a system to where if you published a book or made an album or created anything, that when you reincarnate in your next life, all the proceeds from that are still going to you? Other people don't get to like siphon off that money. Okay, we're scrolling. We're scrolling. We're okay. Tell me I didn't delete it. Oh my god. Did I delete it? Oh my god. Okay. Um that makes me really sad and actually kind of depressed. So I used to have a picture of, I drew in pen Kurt on my hand, and it was, I think it was like happy birthday to like the man who saved my life. Um Now when people credit musicians, especially musicians who have joined the 27 Club, overdosed, suicide, written what many people would consider like sad and depressing songs or like demonic stuff, like let's not even go there where people are calling Billie Eilish demonic. I know we've all been down that Instagram rabbit hole. Don't even get me started on that, okay? Like Billie Eilish is not demonic, and neither was Kurt Cobain, and neither is the Kid Laroi, okay? Just no. No. When people like praise musicians and say like, "Oh, this musician saved my life." Like, what does anyone mean when they say these things? Okay. I literally Kurt Cobain saved my life growing up. Why? Why am I allowed to say that? Why is that okay? Am I like championing people who commit suicide and have depression? No. No, but his music and his artistry and his commitment to honesty saved my life, meaning it gave me hope that there was someone else in all of existence who was similar to me in the kind of ways that you can only like dream about, okay? Like we're not vying for attention right now. I notice every time I try to film myself, other people get really loud. They start screaming and getting like in my face. It's so obnoxious. How am I allowed to say these things? Like the way I talk about Kurt Cobain is the way Christians talk about Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. It's because here's what it is. Here's what it is, okay? Anyone can claim their Christhood. Yogananda talks about it. Jeff and Shalia talk about it. Everyone knows it. You have the great spiritual teachers, the avatars, the yogis, the ascended masters who come and like drop bombs, and then we all like integrate it and like champion it. And then you have everyone else. And the truth is that when certain people claim their Christhood in a certain profession, which could be anything, but I'm talking specifically about musicianship. Um, in this case, because it's what I resonate with the most. Um, Kurt, if you watch interviews of Kurt, now Dan has asked me. He asked me a couple nights ago because we're about to go see the Kid Laroi, and he asked me a couple nights ago. He was like, "Okay, why do you? What is it about this man, this musician? What is it about him? Like, I just he was humble and he admitted he was like, I don't get it. He loves like Kid Laroi songs, and he really got into, he like looked up like the opener Chase, and he was like, this is really cool, and everything. But he was like, what is it though? And I tried to get into it. I did. I really tried. And Dan kind of got distracted. And I realized that, like, there's some things maybe that actually can't be explained. Um, it's like an experience that you have to have. A lot of people don't know what it's like to look up to a musician like this. A lot of people do know what it's like. And if you want to get to know me better, if you want me to take you down my rabbit hills, I'm happy to, but there has to be a reason for it. Like, Dan tried, but he ultimately kind of got distracted, and I was like, I can't take you with me then to some place that's sacred in my soul if you don't want to be there with me. Or maybe we'll try again later. Kurt smells like Teen Spirit. So, smells like Teen Spirit. Believe me, I tried with Dan. I'm gonna have to revisit that topic at another time because he he just didn't really get it. It was okay. It's okay. Like, I'm not mad at anybody. It was a boundary from his consciousness. He wasn't ready to go there yet. Smells like Teen Spirit. Teen Spirit was actually a deodorant. Kurt smelled like Teen Spirit. Don't ask me to talk about Dave Grohl. I'm not ready yet. We're not there. We're not there yet, okay? Don't. Don't do it. Sub Pop Records. Gumballs didn't keep them. Tried to. Why? Fecal Matter. Kurt's first demo. Back when he made music under the band name Fecal Matter in 1985 and 1986. Welcome to Aberdeen. Come as you are. As You Were, in memory of Kurt Cobain. At the Kurt Cobain Memorial Park in Aberdeen. Nevermind, oh well, whatever, never mind. One of the many pieces of graffiti art on the underpass of the bridge on the Wishkah River, where a third of Kurt's ashes were scattered. He spent a lot of time there, which inspired one of my favorite songs, the hidden track Something in the Way, on Nevermind, as well as the title of Nirvana's last album, From the Muddy Banks of the Wishkah. Ooh, boy. Am I getting emotional? I don't know what happened to my Kurt almost tattoo. It makes me really sad that and then, of course, I said the only textbook worth reading is one with Kurt Cobain in it. So how did I find out that the kid Laroi was Kurt Cobain? Well, I was in my apartment with Dan, and I don't know what I was doing. I was in a very surrendered, loving space. And I don't know what happened. I'd have to, like, I don't remember, but I I found the Without You by the Kid Laroi music video. And I was just like, oh, uh, what is this? And of course, he had the Nirvana sweater on in that music video. And I went, Dan, it's fucking Kurt Cobain. I was like, Dan, it's Kurt Cobain. I'm sorry. Okay. So when I was in, do you want me to fix it? Do you want me to fix it? Because I don't know how. And I don't want to. When I was writing for my college newspaper at Madison College back in the day, I put out some newspaper articles. Now, this was through college. It wasn't through, like, the quote unquote real world. It was college newspapers, Madison College. But I'm still very proud of what I wrote, and I must share with you. Okay. Okay. So this was published Wednesday, April 22nd, 2015, the Clarion student newspaper. Brett Morgen's documentary, Kurt Cobain Montage of Heck, has left me throbbing with catharsis and ready to move on. It's called Dismantling My Hero. You can't tell me. It's garbage, dude. You can't tell me that Dave Grohl didn't write the song My Hero about Kurt Cobain. You can't tell me that. Of course, all songs are multifaceted and have different layers and meanings. But, you know, like, we all know where it sprang from. I'm just going to read this. The heavily anticipated and first ever authorized documentary about the late grunge band Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain was screened at the Wisconsin Film Festival on Saturday, April 11th, to a sea of nostalgic baby boomers and Generation Xers and a handful of hip millennials. The arresting title, Kurt Cobain Montage of Heck, which lends its name from a mixtape Kurt made before he was famous around 1986. 1986 is when my bio brother was born. Has been on the cultural radar since 2007 when Kurt's wife, Courtney Love, approached director Brett Morgen and, along with daughter Frances Bean Cobain, also an executive producer, gave him unrestricted access to the family archives. With the release of the trailer this March came a steep promise. This would be the most intimate portrait of an icon to date. The first 20 minutes or so of the film dives into the political and cultural context of the time. Kurt was born 1967, and that is 5 years after my biological mother was born. My biological mother was born in 1962. So, a brief examination of the relationship of his parents, Wendy, Elizabeth, and Donald Leland Cobain. Leland? There, standing in the doorway, was Leland. The baby photos made the audience smile. The home footage of toddler Kurt strumming his toy guitar had us all laughing. But by the time we were hearing Kurt's tender teenage memories narrated in his own voice and brought to life by vivid animation, it was apparent that this really would be the definitive Kurt documentary. We don't just see the isolation he felt from being rejected by most of his family members. We hear it and feel it. We delve deep into his teen angst and humiliation. His failed train track suicide attempt at age 15 was one of the most ominous parts of the entire film. We follow Kurt through the rise and explosion of his career up until the very end by virtue of his own art. Journal entries and interviews with the people who knew him best were all woven together by explosive graphics and Nirvana tracks. The last 20 to 25 minutes, while the most invasive, were also the most illuminating. We see Kurt's home life with Courtney and Francis, completely away from the limelight, the stage, and even his bandmates. We see the goofy, defensive, naked Kurt, the one who is madly in love with Courtney, the one strung out on heroin and nodding off while holding baby Francis. Montage of Heck is an absolute must-see for anyone who considers themselves a Nirvana fan. It is a stunning montage of unadulterated emotion and a portal into Kurt's psyche, both blinding in its beauty and crippling in its complexity. I, like many fans before me, have devoured the With the Lights Out box set. With the lights out! Dude! Scoured this, because he's autistic and needed the lights off. Scoured the scrawls in his journals and parsed every last line of every interview on YouTube. But it is only after viewing this documentary, this ethereal, often ugly, but ultimately honest portrait of a son, brother, husband, and father, that I realized that everything I've seen up until now has been merely smoke and mirrors. This is the one piece, the final piece of the Kurt puzzle that fans have been waiting for without even knowing it. As Francis recently said in a Rolling Stone interview, it's the closest thing to having Kurt tell his own story in his own words, by his own aesthetic, his own perception of the world. Among dismantling the myths and legends that have thus far dominated Kurt's story, Morgan told Rolling Stone that one of his main goals was to give Frances a couple of hours with her dad. Though many people trickled out once the credits started rolling, the truly loyal or lazy fans who stayed until the end, who got to hear the anthemic Smells Like Teen Spirit stripped down to just the vocals, leaving Kurt's infamous and impassioned screams to thrash and echo violently against the walls of the theater. The last of those screams faded out as the screen dimmed to black, and the room sat engulfed in Kurt's unmistakable spirit and a poignant radio silence. Kurt Cobain Montage of Heck will be released in theaters in New York City, Los Angeles, and Seattle on April 24th, and make its TV premiere on HBO on May 4th. A companion book by the same title is available for pre-order on Amazon and will be available for purchase on May 5th. I heard the kid Laroi's vocals for Without You when he screams, "But I'm scared to be alone." That was it. Kurt Cobain, you have come back now. And I can't wait to see you at your concert tomorrow. I'm sure Dan's gonna want to add to this, but I'm not sure if I can even like wait for that. Like, I just don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I do have to go listen to the Kid Laroi and Kurt Cobain music for hours now. Excuse me. And if you know how to make it so that I can have comments turned on my YouTube videos, please let me know. And if you know how to transfer photos and videos off of an iPhone 13 onto an external hard drive through a Mac laptop, just reach out and let me know. Thank you.